It is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast, bringing you another episode for this week's tournament going on in Hawaii, the Sony goddamn Open. And as always, I'm brought to you alongside my amazing, my colorful, my zesty, and my smoking Kenny Kim co-host. What's cooking, Kenny?
Yeah, man. What a tournament last week. Decky and Kyle were running away with it, not exactly what we were looking for, but even though some people don't like the big scoring, stuff like that, we could talk about that on our recap, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun having good golfers come back. I mean, some of the best golfers in the world come back instead of watching just follow that. So it was nice. It was nice.
Absolutely. I think I did not ever think in my life I would see Hideki Matsuyama shoot anything south of 30.
Well, when you putt like Ben Crenshaw, you have the tee degree game that he has. Yeah. All right. So it looks like we're going to need another contest for this year. So me and Byron have been talking. We've been thinking about this. We do like the comment thing that we used to do on YouTube. So if you didn't know what we'll do this year, you go ahead, go on YouTube, go to our comments page. You pick the winner. Okay. Now you don't want a duplicate. So look through the comments because the first person who puts the winner will be picked, and they will get a free month-long membership to Byron's Discord. You get access to all his cool stuff and his Discord. It'll be cool. 1 month free. So that'll be the award. We'll do this every single week. So make sure you put your comments in. Make sure you put who you think is going to win. And then, And then every week we'll go on YouTube. We'll look at the comments. We'll pick it. It's going to help us with the algorithm, getting it out to more people. So let's go ahead and let's do this for this entire season. Sound good?
Sounds good to me, baby. Let's party.
Let's talk about Underdog real quick and then let's move on.
Yes, Underdog. As always, the show is brought to you by Underdog. There is best ball competitions out there again. If you missed this big one that began at the Century, don't stress, friends. We have got you covered for some best ball coming up. There's a multitude of them. So we've got some best ball Underdog. We got pick'ems. We got all that jazz going on. So we really appreciate Underdog giving us a good old banner to sponsor the show with. Use code Mayo to get yourself up to 1,000% deposit bonus, baby. Who's not getting $1,000 deposit bonus is Colin Morikawa, Penny.
Look, man, he shot 67 on a Sunday, and he missed 2 5-footers. With Decky shooting 65, 65, 60 to 62, 65 in 4 rounds, I'm not going to say Colin Morikawa choked the bed. Now, he did fuck up the first 2 out of the first 3 holes, right? He missed those 5-footers, and that was it, basically, because and then Decky makes that hole out for eagle from 100 out on 4, right? And then he makes every fucking putt until 16, right? I mean, he made every putt. Like he had back-to-back birdies on the back when he was down. Well, the first time Morikawa got caught up to like 2 on the back 9. Dude went out and made a 20-footer and a 35-footer on back-to-back holes for birdie. And the thing is, Kawa put it right back in him, right, on a couple of them. So it was, I'm not going to blame Morikawa. Hideki just played amazing. And if he can go out there and putt like that, like he's got a new putter. The way Decky talks is like, here you got a new putter. It's like, I saw people making it with it. You're like, why just this putter? It's like, I saw a lot of people make putts with it. He's like, is it helping you? Like, for now. All these 1 or 2, you know what I'm saying? All these like 1-2 word answers for Decky when everybody knows he speaks English, right? I mean, this is not like my conspiracy theories and like stupid, fake stories. Like, Decky knows English. Like when it was a President's Cup a few years ago, where I think it was in Japan, maybe somewhere. I don't remember, but they had a President's Cup and the PGA put out videos with Decky teaching other people from the President's Cup team Japanese, right? And he was speaking fine English, teaching to them, telling him what these things were. The reason why Decky doesn't speak English, and it's brilliant, it's fucking genius, is because the amount of press and stuff that has hounded him throughout his entire career in Japan, right? I mean, basically, he was like the biggest celebrity. He couldn't get any privacy. He couldn't get any peace. He actually moved to the United States because of this. To get away, I mean, the entourage that follows him of Japanese media on a weekly basis is LeBron-esque, right? I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, the people that follow him from Japan. And so to mitigate that happening in America, he just pretends he doesn't speak the fucking language, right? And so he doesn't have to deal with like long interviews. He doesn't get called in to do like stupid things for the PGA Tour social media, which has gotten better. It's gotten better here recently.
Ball wasn't very high, Kenny.
Yeah, it's gotten better. But like doing little videos like that, taking your time away from actually just focusing on the golf and your family now. He has a kid. No one knew he had a kid. Like he's had a kid. His kid's like 7 years old. Like nobody even knows he has a child. Like that's how private.
The best Japanese amateur on tour there.
What? No, are you talking about the guy or the other Matsuyama in the field?
No, the kid.
His kid. The kid.
His kid's like the 7th best amateur in Japan.
Hideki?
Hideki's serious? Kid. No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. I didn't fucking know. Like, that shit's new to me. Like, I didn't know about that shit. But you know, and so he doesn't. He could speak the language, but he doesn't want to deal with interviews. He doesn't want to deal with the media. He doesn't want people hounding him anytime to do different shit that he doesn't want to do. And if people ask him, he's Japanese. He's a nice guy. He's gonna do it, right? Mm-hmm. And to avoid that situation, he just pretends he doesn't speak the language.
Genius. Chestnut checkers.
Decky knows the language. He knows English. He can probably speak it better than the Koreans on tour. And I respect the Koreans if they try. And I've always had this issue with people who come to different countries and not learn the language, right? If you come to if you come to America, like even my people, like it's not as bad as it was. But when I first came to America, the Korean community, they mainly stuck together, and a lot of ethnicities do when they come to America. But I didn't like the fact that they only stuck together. They didn't branch out. Now, in the last 20 years, Korean people have learned, you got to branch out with the whites, and that's how you make money, right? You know, you got to chill with the whites. That's how you make money in the United States. You got to be cool with the whites. So. The big thing about Korean restaurants, Korean barbecue, K-pop, all that stuff. Now it's becoming more. Becoming more likely that when people come from Korea to America, they assimilate quicker than they did 20, 30, 40 years ago when I came. And that's a great thing. Now, I just don't like it when people go to different countries. Like fucking Emily in Paris is the one thing that pisses me off. I don't know if you guys watch that show. But like that stupid fucking bitch goes to fucking France and doesn't learn the goddamn fucking language. It pisses me off so fucking bad. I know it's a TV show, but that shit just irritates me. Like you need to come. You're gonna come to a different country, assimilate. You know what I'm saying? Stick with your culture, like me. You know, I'm proud. I'm Korean, right? I say it every week. My fucking X handle avatar is a Korean flag. Like this is that I could still be proud of my peoples and still be able to speak the language and learn it and assimilate into the culture of the United States. Okay, that's my political rant for the day. I'm sorry, I forgot what we were talking about last week. And what about you? But you South Africans speak English, so it didn't really affect too much for you.
Yeah, dit my geaffect. Ek is 'n Afrikaanse man. Ek het nie Engels
gepraat
nie wanneer ek
you knew both of those languages. You knew both of those languages when you were in South Africa, correct?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I said that's a little political rant. It's just something that I believe in. As someone who is a guy who's come to a new country to live. I was born in Korea. If I ever have children, they'll be the first of my people to be born in America. Like I'm Korean, but you got to assimilate. You got to get in there. That's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way it's going to work.
When I've been holding on to Piper at nighttime, because I take her on at like 7, 8 o'clock, and Caitlin goes to bed until like midnight, 2. I just speak Afrikaans to her the whole time. So
that's great. They should learn another language. Yeah, like my problem is I'm losing the language. I don't speak it hardly at all anymore. So what I've been doing is I've been watching Korean dramas recently. Like you can learn. Like I watched Squid Games, season 1 season 2, and then I was like, let me watch Mr. Sunshine again. If you like Squid Games, the guy who plays the guy in the black mask, really good looking, Korean guy who's like the bad guy who like infiltrates the Squid Games people. He is the star of a show called Mr. Sunshine. It's a historical drama. It's on Netflix too, I think. So you can watch it there. It's like 24 episodes. Great show. Just visually stunning. Korean countryside, historical, beautiful show. So if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's great. And a lot of Americans have seen the show as well. So I'm trying to get back to my Korean roots because I've sort of gone overboard, and now I'm totally assimilated. I'm the whitest Korean you can buy me. But,
very Korean.
but I'm trying. But let's go back to the Sony. Other golfers. The Century, that's right. Other golfers that played well. I mean, Sung Jae was up there. You just couldn't get it done. Catch those two guys.
Johnny Vegas, baby. Yeah. I had it hit him for an each way. Johnny Vegas.
Very nice.
Each way number 1, Kenny, for the year. I've got one more than you do. No.
You do. Well, that's not the only thing you want. What else?
Yeah.
I know you had a good week.
So I do this thing where it's called the Farewell Fiver. I just bet $5 on a 4-leg round robin parlay. $1 goes to the full parlay. Mike tailed this bad boy. We never hit the 28-1, but we hit the 14-1 part of it because one of the legs pushed. But we still cashed a 14-1 ticket to start the freaking year. Round 1, baby.
You find that on where can they find that? Every week.
You can find that now in my Discord on Patreon because I am now launched my own shit. We are rocking and rolling. I'm on my own, baby. I'm my own boss. We are living this America. Talking about assimilating, Kenny. I'm a business owner in America now. I am my own businessman. So I launched that today. It's year end. Accounting be damned. I was just in the Discord making sure everything's looking tidy. I've got all my outright bets in there. I've got all sorts of research, all sorts of fun stuff going on over there. I'll be publishing some random articles to Twitter because, I don't really have a place to publish that crap to now. And I feel like that's a good place to go.
That's amazing news, dude. Good. Congratulations.
That's good
bro.
for you.
Good job.
That's great. Make sure you follow at the Monomaniac on X to get all that information of where you can find Byron, Anna's work, sign up for his Discord, do all that good shit. Also, if we're talking about this, I'm not writing for Gup's Corner anymore. So I know more. It's nothing bad. It's just, mutual apart. I love Gup. I consider him one of my great friends. One thing about him and I love is if you're loyal to him and friends with him, he will do anything for you. Take the shirt off his back. Super loyal type of guy. Now, if he doesn't like you, you might hear from that as well. You're not saying you might hear from him as well, But if you're one of the best friends I've had, I can always count on him for everything. Love him, love his family. Spent Thanksgiving in his house before. Really, really good guy. So there's no problems there. It's just I'm just not gonna not doing the writing for him anymore. So I'll still be on his pods and stuff on occasion though. So make sure you go check out Gup's Corner. But I guess I'm a free agent. I don't know. I'm gonna need an offer I can't refuse to go back to writing again. But we'll see.
Yeah. Writing again. Sure.
I know, right? Anyways, more. I mean, you said Sung Jae Vegas was up there. He got you in each way. For me, it was not a great week. I had Kawa. I had the outright, but I did not go to each way. Instead of each way, I decided to go Kawa and JT. I also decided between Kawa and JT and M. That was a mistake. I probably wouldn't have each weighed M either at 16-1. So maybe it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So not the best. And then in underdog, the first 3 rounds, I lost by 1 stroke each day. 1 stroke. Like 2 of my golfers would hit, and the one guy that didn't would be like a half stroke above the number or half stroke below the number. 3 straight days in a row. So I don't know if like all the good luck I had last year is like reversing its course and like maybe going to you.
It's 1 week.
I know. But I just worried about this because last year was so good. You know what I'm saying? Like just thinking ahead, I'm like, oh, this could maybe all the good luck can go to you, and then I'll take the bad luck. And really, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope you fucking lose every week and I win all the time. But we'll have to see and take it as it goes. Anybody else catch your eye?
What the fuck's going on with his game right now?
First week.
Second week in a row though. Like after the Zozo, then this week, and he's played so well here. He's never played this badly at this golf course, and he sucked it up.
I'm not stressing it. I'm not stressing anybody. I'm not stressing anybody from this event. Like, it's a hit and giggle. You're out there. You don't know what they've been doing for the last 2 months. You know what I'm saying? It could be the first time these people fucking picked up a club. You know, I mean, not every guy is going to go out there and work the way everyone works. There's going to be people out there with families, vacations, holidays that just don't have the time to go out there, but they want to get this paycheck, right? And they want to bring their family out to fucking Hawaii, right? I mean, I'm not stressing a bad performance this week, but I think a good performance can lead the way to a solid week this week. And we've seen trends and stuff like that go about. I think there's been 12 winners of both of these tournaments. 12 guys. I think Decky was the 12th guy who's won both the Sony and the Century. Even though they're totally opposite courses, and we'll talk about this more when we actually get to the course. But I think I wouldn't look too much into the poor play last week, but I would maybe focus on good play from last week.
That's fair.
If you got a shitty guy who played sort of shitty last week, but he looks like, this could be his type of course. Siwoo Kim, somebody comes to mind. Something like that, who did not play very well last week, but seems like this is a course that he can contend on, and he's won in the past. I would not take anything negative about the Century. I would only take the positives when you think about that.
Yeah. The only negative about the Century and Hideki's win is that Scotty Scheffler wasn't there, Kenny, because he's cut his hand. And now we got news that Scotty's pulled out of the Amex due to that the Christmas injury that he had.
So I actually heard from my sources once again that he probably could have played at the Amex, but some stuff went down this past weekend. So Scotty and Sungjae, Scotty and Tom, of course, like last week, if you listened, Tom runs the big drug cartel on the PGA Tour. And, Scotty owes him money and has worked for him and has done jobs for him in the past. Like, you've seen, Scotty, basically take Tom under his wing. And you've seen it, for the last couple of years on tour, or they're always buddy. But at some point in time, when it came to this drug game, this dope game, Tom surpassed him, and Tom has become the boss, right? Even though Scotty's still loyal to him. Scotty's still loyal to him. He gets his shit from him. Also, he works for him, and so he's still loyal to Tom. But there's a little twinge, jealousy there. Now, what happened this past weekend is there was a Russian in New York, owed Tom big time money. And so, to work off his debt and, because he worked for him, Tom told Scotty and Jordan Spieth. Jordan also works for Tom. Jordan's like one of those henchmen out there who does some dirty work. He's been out for a little bit of time. That's through a gunshot wound that he actually accrued. They've been able to keep that quiet and under wraps. But I mean, Jordan got gadded like a couple of months ago, and that's why he's out early this season. But he's better. He's better enough. He can walk around and do stuff. So Scotty and Jordan, they went to New York to go pick up this money. It's from this Russian guy, owed him a lot of money. So they go up to the Russian guy's house, knocking his door. And this guy's a pretty fucking big guy, right? And he's drunk as shit. Just talking like mad stupid shit about like him and like stupid golf players. He started talking down on golfers, right? And saying like how back in Russia, he was an interior decorator that killed like 16 Czechoslovakians, right? Doing all that, as like this guy who was this big wig, soldier type of guy in Russia. And so, they sort of have this sort of back and forth at this guy's apartment. And Scotty, again, that temper that you heard about last week, Scotty just in a fit of rage, hits him in the back of the head. First off, the Russian sort of attacked Jordan because Jordan was talking his shit. Jordan's a major shit talker. He just opens his mouth sometimes and just doesn't think. And so the Russian went and attacked Jordan, right? And so Scotty, of course, helping his boy out, knocked him in the back of the head. Well, the guy starts bleeding and they think he's dead on the ground. He's bleeding out on the ground. So they don't really know what to do at this point because the guy runs, works for like, I wouldn't say a rival competitor of Tom, but like, you know how like, so basically the PGA Tour is run by the Korean guys. Tom is the head, right? But other sporting tours have their own drug dealers. And I think this guy worked for like, Brady or somebody who runs the shit for the NFL. And so they can't like just leave them there, right? I mean, dead body, no good. People are going to ask questions. So they got to figure out a way to, hide the body. So they're in New York. And so Scotty's like, okay, I know this place. It's called Pine Barrens. It's in New Jersey. It's this wooded little area. They'll just go out there, and bury the body, and it'll be fine. They'll go home, get some steak. It'll be a fun little story that Jordan and Scotty tell, Tom on their way back. So anyways, they get to the woods and, they open the trunk and the motherfucker's still alive. Definitely not dead. Definitely not dead. And he goes off, he gets out. They get into a little scuffle. I think Scotty gets hit in the head with the crowbar, a little bit of damage. But the guy starts running away. And so Scotty and Jordan have to chase him like through these woods, right? And so they're chasing him. And I think Jordan thinks he shot him. They don't know for a fact. Jordan thinks that he got him, but like they couldn't find the body, right? And so they were just searching. And so they at this point they call Tom. They know they're in trouble. They're like, okay, this is going too far. This guy can't escape. And so they call Tom up, and Tom's like, yo, you got to fucking take care of this. I can't be having Brady and the fucking NFL guys on my ass. I can't do that, man. I only have limited amount of soldiers, running my PGA Tour. So they go to, so they're like, okay, fine. So they have to find this guy, and it's like, 20 degrees, 15 degrees, freezing cold out there, snow on the ground, right? And so they're trying to find him following these steps, but they just get lost. They're in the middle of the woods, completely lost, hungry, haven't eaten. Scotty's pissed off because, he told Jordan they should have ate beforehand. They're going to go to eat beforehand. But no, fucking Jordan, he wanted to fucking hurry up and get this done instead of getting some food. So Scotty's real pissed at this point in time. They can't find this dude. And then at one point in time, Scotty falls and loses a shoe, right? He lost his shoe. So he's walking around New Jersey, Pine Barrens, in the woods, no shoes, snow on the ground, all, freezing cold. Like, they think they're going to die. No phone service. They can't get any phone service where they are. They have no idea. Night comes, right? And so they're stuck out here. And these aren't like, nature guys. They're rich white dudes. Like, they don't know how to live out in the wilderness and survive. Now, luckily, they find an abandoned car that was sitting out there. So they find this abandoned car. They're both starving. Luckily, they find some ketchup and mustard and relish packets that are still in the car. They're able to, suck on some of that. And at this point in time, Scotty's foot is just unbearable. Like, it's basically frozen solid. It's a call Tom. They tell him the situation he's in. And so Tom and Sam Burns, of course, is a hunter, tracker. He's going to be able to find these guys. They take their private jet to New York. The day comes finally, after squabbling all night with each other because, there's like twinge of jealousy between Jordan and Scotty, because Scotty used to be, Tom's boy, like the numero uno, but Jordan's been doing a lot of work, younger, doing a lot of work. A lot of people are thinking he might be the second-hand man, even though Scotty's been around for, Tom for a while. He, basically brought him up. And even when Tom surpassed him, like I said, he kept loyal to him. So there was a lot of little jealousy there, but they were able to make it through the night. Sam Burns found them. And Tom, of course, is just giving him a scolding in the car ride. And of course, like stupid Scotty's eating a sandwich, gets mayonnaise stuck on the side of his, his lip. And, that's one of the things that Tom can't stand. Like mayonnaise, right? And so, wipes that off. But what ends up happening is like a couple of his toes have been frostbitten, because they were out in the snow, trying to find his body. And they still haven't found the body. Like I said, Jordan thought he shot him, but they don't know. So this could cause some beef between, Brady and his cartel. because of course the NFL is bigger than the PGA. There's more people to sell to. It's a lot bigger, cartel, and it could lead to a squabble between the NFL guys and Tom's guys. And Scotty knows this, right? Scotty knows that this could be a problem, and he could tell that Tom's really, really pissed off. And then, of course, Tom had to be a little bit late to his flight. Just got to Hawaii earlier today instead of yesterday because of all this. So that's why Scotty cannot play next week, because of the frostbite. His hand is okay. It's no problem. He can go out and play. It's just he can be, he has frostbitten toes. He can't walk out there. So he'll be back for a Pebble. And if I hear anything else from my sources, I will make sure to let the audience know.
Kenny, I love you. This is one of these sources are just
very, very detailed sources, like Mike said. Like it's nice having it in like that and figuring it all out.
Absolutely. Like it's so good that you'd almost think you were there. Like
like you've seen it before.
Kenny. I don't know.
Like you've seen it before.
Almost like you've seen it before.
Almost like you've seen it before.
But Kenny, we're gonna see what happens in Pebble. Pebble. That's where all the rich white people live. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
I think that's what he's got to make his pit stop over there. Speaking of pit stops,
that's Ohtani. He runs that shit over there.
Yeah, he does.
Ohtani runs that shit on the fucking West Coast. You don't fuck with those Japanese dudes. Trust me.
Or his translator, who's freaking a massive gambling kingpin too. So we can probably get into that in future episodes. But for now, let's go to commercial.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's these little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Alrighty, so let's get back to our kickback golf bets of the week for the Sony Open out in Honolulu. By the way, I've been out to the Waialae Country Club. I'll tell you a story after this, but kickback golf folks, as always, they are the main source and funding for Kenny's sources. So we distribute that revenue down to kickback golf to continue keeping the information coming to us. So if you want these kind of stories, then you have to buy kickback golf, because they have all you could wish for over there with basketball jerseys, baseball jerseys, with all your favorite players, everything that you could wish for over there.
Favorite golfers.
Your alma maters.
Favorite
golfers. Yes, my bad. They are golfers. But there's a screen going on right now. I'm sure you guys see exactly what's going on. It's all good. So Kenny.
For the listeners, use promo code FGD15.
Jesus Christ. I butchered that one. But you know what? It is what it is. Use code FGD15, please. We would appreciate that so that I can practice doing this, but better. It's the week. Let's do some Sony. I went out to Honolulu for my 5-year anniversary, and I wanted to go buy a Waialae Country Club hat. I walk into the pro shop, and I'm looking at these hats, and some guy walks up to me. He's like, "Sir, are you a member here?" I'm like, "No, but I'd like to buy a hat." He's like, "Please leave." And I was like, "Damn, son, like, I'm trying to give you like $30 for a fucking hat. And you're telling me
it's a private club, right?
It is, but also
Byron walked in with a beer and a poutine in his hand.
Yeah, that would be normal at 99% of prestigious clubs in the world.
I know, but it was just like, you're on Honolulu, why you, whatever.
First off, you been married a 5-year anniversary. You're like 32. How long have you been married?
7 years in Feb. So yeah. I've been with her for almost 12. So it's quite a long time. I mean, she's the real champ in this situation. You know what I'm saying? So,
believe that.
Yeah, then we left there. We snuck into a 5-star resort and I walked into the hotel and like around it to get onto the golf course from the back end. So I walked onto like one green and I like saw some stuff. I saw some guy skull like 3 bunker shots into the lip on the first green. And then while we're walking back, we just see dolphins swimming in the pool and canals in this 5-star resort. They just literally have dolphins just swimming around you. And it's just like, I need to, sell a lot
I
more
need to be
packages
rich,
because
basically. Yeah,
I
no
need to
shit,
go to
right?
these fucking places for sure. So that was a fun time. We got kicked out of the country club, but me and her, we watched some dolphins for free. So it was a good time, and I got to see the golf course, which, Kenny, is a nice little golf course. It's a golf course that we're looking to bet specific players. So let's talk about where we're going to be betting. Where are you going with your bets this week?
Okay, so for me this week, my outrights, I think I got 8, but I got four long shots because a lot of long shots have won here in the past. And we saw last year, like 400 to 1, Grayson Murray. I think the average in the last 12 years is 90 to 1 is the average winner at this event. So long shots do have a chance, a pretty good chance at a course like this. But I'm going to go with the favorites first. First one, I've been talking about this for a while. He didn't really perform that great. He did have at 68 on Sunday, but Benihana at 20 to 1, runner up here last year, really could have won this event. But Grayson made some putts at the end that really, sealed the deal for him, especially in that playoff. But again, iron play, and I like his iron play. I just like the way he's been playing in the last year. Just constantly seems like he's on an upward trajectory. He showed his medal at the President's Cup. He won an event in Korea, beating out either Sungjae or Tom. I don't remember
Tom.
It was
Kingpin
Tom. It was Tom. Yeah. And so that was in the fall. He's tasted that victory. I think. Oh, he won another Euro event too, didn't he? Didn't he win a European Tour event too?
I don't know. I know he definitely won the Korean, which was a DP World Tour.
Okay,
stop.
it was a DP World Tour stop then. Okay. I know he's won here recently, and I think he's going to win on the tour at some point in time. And I think this is a great event for him. I know length really helps, but his short game is solid. His iron game, of course, really good. 20 to 1. I'm going to go with him with 8 places. 25 to 1. I like Mav McNeely. If you look, he played last week, and he was, everyone knows Mav as an excellent putter. That's how he gets most of his work done. Well, he was top 5 in strokes gained approach for the week last week. You're going to hear trends later on where like 17 of the last 25 winners here at Sony have played the week before. I'm looking at that a little bit. Like basically my cash lineup is these guys who played last week, but that's not going to be the end all be all, but it does look good for Maverick McNeely, who had a really strong finish. I think top 10, top 15 last week. So give me him at 25 to 1 with 8 places. Next, it's going to be Hendrith. 33 to 1 with 8 places. He was also the top 15 in strokes gained approach at last week. He's finished, I think, top 12 here in the past. At least he's had all 4 of these guys have had, I think, a top 10 or a top 12 in an appearance here. And honestly, this is like overall in its history, it's like the second stickiest history course on tour. Last year wasn't as sticky. Last year it was 9th. But overall, for like all the years and all the courses, it's the second stickiest when it comes to course history. And so all my guys have had a top 10 here in the past or a top 12. And that's in my cash game cornerstones. I'm sort of losing track of my mind. I did it. So as the show goes on, you could probably tell why my eyes are getting really chinky right now, but I could see it like in my video screen. But when it comes to, I'm trying 33 to 1, Pendrith. I like him, played last week. Iron play top 15 from last week. He's a proven winner. And I do like at 40 to 1, Cam Davis, who was second, I think, in strokes gained approach. Last week, again, has had a top finish here in the past. I like him at 40 to 1 with 8 places. Then I got long shots. 100 to 1, Nick Taylor, played last week. Really good course history here. Again, most of these are course history-esque. Next, it's going to be Vince Whaley. It's a little bit different. Whaley has come in at the end of the year with a couple of really strong finishes and played well here in the past. I think I got him at 110 to 1 also. I got Jake Knapp at 300 to 1. That number just seemed crazy. And all these are 8 places. Like 300 to 1. It's not like this is like a signature event and he's one of the poop guys. Like, he can beat these guys.
And it takes driver out of his hand, Kenny, who is really struggling.
And he's been
with right
struggling.
now. So,
He's been struggling with that. And then Patton Kizzire, 110 to 1. Again, played last week, did course history here. And all these guys are with 8 places.
Cool. Hey, you know what you've done though, Kenny? You're a smart man. You know that you've transferred the luck to me. So now you've just bet my guys. Because
Cool.
I've also got Mav and I've also got Benny.
Okay.
I've also got Patton Kizzire. I've also got, no, I'm joking. I've only got Mav and Benny. So big fan of Mav, Benny. Benny's got his 12th place finisher and a runner-up. He bricked that 4-footer, by the way. It wasn't like Grayson played well, but let's not beat around the bush there. Freaking Benny on absolutely choked that thing away. Brutal stuff. So yes, I've gone to Bet365 and done Benny on 3 places each way at 45 to 1. So I just kind of ramped that sucker up all the way there. And I've got Mav McNeely at Bet Rivers for 28 to 1 with 6 places each way over there as well. Want to make sure we're capitalizing on these guys getting close. We're going to do each ways, and I'm going to beat your ass in each ways this year, Kenny. I'm telling you now. So it's going to happen, especially with 2 guys that often find themselves around the top of the leaderboard. JT Poston finished 6th here last year. I had him for a top 5, and it was the Carl Yuan with that virtual certainty drop. Do you remember that? There was a virtual certainty that he had hit his golf ball into the grandstands.
Okay, yeah, vaguely,
and he said, I'm virtually certain that it's in there. The camera shows the golf ball just disappearing, like no one knows where this thing is. And he gets a free drop, makes a par, finishes 5th, kicks JT Poston out of a tie for 5th, and finishes 6th place. I was fucking fuming. And then Benny On goes and misses a 4-footer. It was just a brutal, brutal ending to that tournament. So that's okay. Redemption season now with JT Poston coming in here. Sahith Theegala. There's a 40 to 1 for him out at Bet Rivers as well. I think Sahith is one of these guys. Top 10s or not in the top 40. That's his thing. You're not ever betting Sahith Theegala for anything like intermediate. He's not a floor golfer. I wrote in my Discord, you want to bet on volatile golfers. You don't want a volatile wife, but you want a volatile golfer. You want to make sure that you can take advantage of golfers with profiles like this, because the odds are going to be so crap for him because he sucks half the time. But the other half the time, he's just popping hard, you know? So that's what you're kind of looking for here. Grab Sahith Theegala for a top 10 as well. And then I've got a few more long shots for you as well. Nico Echeverria, 80 to 1. I mean, this guy's been balling out all fall swing. This seems like a kind of golf course that suits him a bit better. I feel like the Century wasn't his kind of a venue. It's coastal. He's putting great, which you need to do here again. And I feel like he's got the game to play at a golf course like this. He also has a solid finisher, I think 2 years ago. I think he's got a 12th place. So that's nice for Nico. Then we're going to move along to Matt McCarty at 120 to 1. He's won 4 times in the last year. He's 120 to 1. I know he's playing like absolute shit right now, but he's 120 to 1. I mean, you can literally lay $3 to win $360 over there. You know, like five to turn into 600. So he's at a massively long number, and this golf course also suits his skill set. You know, he's kind of accurate off the tee. He's not going to lose distance to the field, and he's a great putter. So he's going to make tons and tons of birdies around this golf course. And then my final play is Justin Lower. I think at 150 to 1, it's hard to pass up a guy who was literally contending for back-to-back wins in the fall swing like 3 starts ago. Then he missed the cut at the RSM because I went after him there. But it just seemed like he ran out of steam there. He's recharged, and there's no metrics on his approach numbers. I was watching him play amazing golf, but we don't see any approach numbers or anything. He was just drilling irons around Mexico and around Bermuda. But there's no strokes gained, so we don't know what the hell he was up to. So I think this 150 probably should be south of 100. I mean, this guy has 2 top 5s in his last 3 starts. What are we doing? So this field isn't as strong as it should be. And I think these guys can thrive in this kind of situation. So I'm a fan of those guys. I really want to see Sahith get another one. I think there's a great translation between this and Silverado Resort, where he's won the Pro Corp or the 40 net. It's like claustrophobic, putting, chipping kind of stuff. Let's see what he can do. And then I've got a few placements. For you guys.
Nice.
Luke
Let's hear 'em.
Clanton. These are my bread and butter. So I'll be dropping the rest of them on my show tomorrow, 7 Eastern, back 9 bets. But we're going to go with Luke Clanton for a top 10 at plus 400. This guy's just been rattling off top 10s at a 60% clip since he's been an amateur. This guy's just playing in all these tournaments. And he's
still
an
an
amateur. Yes, he's an amateur. So he's going to get his PGA Tour card through PGAU by just getting points in these events. He's so smart. He doesn't have to go to the Corn Ferry or anything like that. He's going to be doing this as the number 1 PGA Tour college player. So 4-1 plus 400 for a top 10 for him. And then I'm going to tell you Mackenzie Hughes. Go after him there for a top 10 at plus 500. Think about great putting, great short game. You know what I'm saying? This guy can do it around these kind of venues like the RSM. Very similar situation. He was also doing a Q&A on X, and it was very interesting to hear him speak. I asked him which strokes gain metric you would want to be elite in if you could pick anyone. And he mentioned it was off the tee. He said approach was close, but he said, if you are elite off the tee, everything else is easier. You can be a bad iron player if you're in the middle of the fairway. You're going to be hitting it closer than the guys that are in the trees. So that was a great kind of an interesting take from him. He was really, really fun to kind of interact with over there. And then I'm going to tell you to go over to the side that I kind of fancy. And it's a Taylor Pendrith top 40 at minus 160. He's doing this at a 73% clip. Minus 160 implies it's a 62% in probability. So there's a massive 10% edge there. And this guy is so freaking solid, especially around these shorter courses. So don't be shy. If you find yourself having an edge, go take a shorter number. Minus 160 is a value for Taylor Pendrith. You can go in that market. And then I'll give you one more as we get the hell out of here for the placement side of things, brought to you by Kickback Golf. Use code FGD15 while you are betting Billy Horschel for a top 10 at 6-1 plus 600. So you can get all of these bets for ties paid in full at Bet365. I think DraftKings also offers ties paid in full, and I believe BetMGM offers ties paid in full, because you don't want to be caught at a plus 600 number and the guy gets a split each ways and then you're only getting plus 300. Ask Mike. It's not fun when your parlay gets split in half. So ties paid in full, that's the way to go. Those are the placement bets for now. I have more to do as we go down my board here. I'm definitely sure we're going to be bumping into some safer top 40 bets as we go down the list, because that's how you keep a bankroll, friends. We're trying to emphasize a bit more betting, a bit more kind of how to make golf betting fun, because it's fun to throw money at outrights and all that, but it's also fun to have money and not have to deposit that money in there all the time. So if you're throwing money at outrights, I basically do it with my Breaking 100 article. I take the $10 of my $100, and that's for outrights. The other 85 goes to matchups and placements, which are all minus 160s, these value plus 600s, matchups where you're just going 1v1, and then the $5 on the farewell fiver, which is also basically an outright, but a 3-ball parlay. So 85% of my bankroll is going to stuff that is a lot more sure. You're not going to get screwed over by one guy having a crazy Hideki round. You're going to cash a second place Colin Morikawa top 5, for instance, kind of thing. So smart bankroll management brought to you by Kickback Golf. FGD15 gets you 15% off over there, and tell them we sent you so we can continue getting those sources from the south. Kenny, rip us a course preview here, my brother.
All right, so, we stay in Hawaii this week. Waialae Country Club plays host to the Sony Open. Just a couple of trends you're going to hear about these all week. Now, if you want to use these trends, you can. If not, you don't. I mean, some people don't believe in them. Now, only 5 winners here since 2000 have been in their 20s. Russell Henley, JT, Cam Smith, Decky in his late 20s a couple of years ago, and Siwoo a few years ago as well. 16 winners have been in their 30s. 4 winners since 2000 are in their 40s. Now, even with this stat, I wouldn't eliminate any young uber talented golfer. The talent of these guys are, in their 20s is crazy nowadays. Now, what I would take from this is, the Matt Kuchars, the Justin Roses, Lucas Glover, and the Roses are playing this year, but like the Lucas Glovers, the Billy Horshells, they're live this week, I think. Now, 17 of the last 25 winners here played the week before at the Century. For this stat, I am using it a little bit. I'm using it in cash. I want to play guys that played last week in cash. It's more of a comfortability factor, I think, for myself. I actually got to see them actually play a little bit of golf last week, so I think I could judge them better than the guys who have been off for 2 or 3 months. I'm not sure what they've been doing, and come out and they can rip shit up, and go incredibly well tomorrow. I would not be shocked about that. But from a safety, it is cash, conservative type mind frame. I would just like to roster guys who played last week in cash only. Now, 12 of the last 14 winners have had a top 15 finish in one of their prior 3 starts. It includes either fall up until even the Century. Prior 3 starts prior to their victory. And again, second stickiest course on tour when it comes to course history. So the Wildlife Country Club, 7,050-yard par 70, 4 par 3s, 12 par 4s, 2 par 5s, which are both reachable by almost everyone. The par 5s are actually 2 of the easiest on tour. 5 of the par 4s range from 400 to 450. 5 range from 450 to 500, but only 2 over 460 yards. And 2 are fairly short, with the par 4 10th hole possibly being reachable off the tee. The par 3s are short-ish, but tough and range from like 170 to 210. The course is set up right next to Mauna Lua Bay, which can cause windy conditions. If the wind is down, this course is not too difficult. You've seen like minus 27 wind here. You've also seen minus 11 wind here. It's definitely wind dependent. What we're seeing early in the week on Monday is Thursday and Friday look like the calmest days. It looks like the calmest days, and so it's really hard to judge stuff because when I take weather into a factor like wind, I'm really only looking at the first day because it's too hard to guess Friday, and it's too hard to guess Saturday. It's too hard to guess Sunday. So if you have a weather type of week, like I just look at Wednesday at Thursday and give me the people who have the best conditions on that Thursday. And then hopefully, because that's something that's going to be more accurate. If you make your lineups at like 10 o'clock at night, you're 8 hours away from first tee, right? It could be a more accurate weather projection. And so when it comes to weather and wind weeks, I only look at Thursdays. That's what I look at from now on because it's too much of a fucking crapshoot. Now, and I'll probably, I don't know, dude. How do you feel about that, Byron? Like when it comes, would you look at both days, or because I could see why people would, but to me the weather is just forecast is so volatile that I think that it's just better to look at Thursday and that's it. Base your weather judgments on that first day.
Yeah, I think what you can kind of almost get away with, Kenny, is if you find that the wind is like heaviest in the morning for some reason, then the guys playing in the afternoon get the best conditions and they go out. Typically mornings are calmer, so if that one day is a little windier in the morning, then they organically just get a double wave advantage because they switching tee times, they go from AM PM. So we've often seen some massive splits in that department. So you can definitely try and fiddle around there. We've seen people get absolutely burnt trying to do this, where if you went with the other way, you would have benefited way more. So there's always that situation.
Well, what I like about Tambo used to say this, where in that situation where everyone's looking at one weather wave advantage, right? Make
10%,
make like 60% that way, make 20% the other, flip it and do 20% or 10, something like that, and then do a mixture for the rest or something like that. Make your own percentages, but you get the idea. I think that does make a lot of sense when you mass multi-enter. A lot tougher to do that when you have a single entry and you're looking at the weather forecast and it's telling you something that's happening in 8 hours. You're probably going to believe it. But, again, that's how I take my weather. And I think it's a pretty good way to go about it when it comes to that. Now, off the tee, golfers are going to see above average size tree line fairways that are firm, flat, and fast. Usually, there is rain in the forecast Tuesday and Wednesday, so we'll see how much roll they actually get. But they haven't had that much rain in the last few months, so it's either it could be really firm if they don't get this rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. It could be like really firm out there, which of course leads to more missed fairways, more missed greens, a bigger, more emphasis on short game. As well, and proximity from the rough. If that happens to pass and they don't get the rain on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you check in the Golf Channel 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, and they're like, yeah, it's rock hard out there. Then you make sure you keep that in mind. The fast firm fairways, of course, makes this a difficult course to get your drive on the short grass. 2 of the toughest fairways to hit on tour are on this course. The 18th has been the hardest fairway to hit on tour since 2012. It's non-major. Only about 31% of balls landing on the fairway. The 13th hole is the 5th hardest fairway to hit on tour since 2012. Only about 38% of balls reaching the fairway. The rough around the fairway, they've actually rose it here in the last couple of years. It used to be around 2 inches. It really wasn't that much. It's about 3 now. And you don't think that 1 inch makes a difference, but it really does.
Oh, 1 inch makes a big difference.
Especially because it's Bermuda. You've played in true Bermuda rough before. Like sometimes you can get lucky and she'll just like sort of be up there. But most of the time, that ball just sinks to the fucking bottom. And that's how it makes it really tough to judge proximity. Like how far you're really going to hit the ball. So you get fire lies. It is tough in that rough. But, there are some stats here that are sort of strange. Now, let me find out. So Wildlife constantly ranks in the 20 hardest rough proximity courses on tour, right? But it ranks in the top 20 easiest courses to score in the rough. I don't know what the fuck that means. I honestly don't know how that's possible. It is a fact. I don't know what that means. But top 20 hardest rough proximity, but top 20 easiest course to score from the rough.
What do you mean? Maybe like you can probably scramble a little better? Is that what it's saying? Like your short game can help out? Maybe it's the greens are easier to make putts on because
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's putting. Yeah, I think it makes it the putting.
Putting is
that's
important.
What causes the difference. Yeah. And I think that's what causes the difference and this discrepancy because there's not that much slope, undulation. It's pretty straightforward here. And like you've seen like shitty putters win year before, and you've seen like good putters. I'll go over this. I have a stat here later on. We'll go over it. But 4th easiest course to score on tour from the fairway. So that does make a big difference. Now, with this information, you're going to think driving accuracy is going to be super important. But then you look at the numbers and trends, and you see it's not necessarily true. Only 29% of golfers that finished top 3 here since 2005 were ranked inside the top 50 in driving accuracy. 5 years ago, or I think 6 years ago, more than half of the top 10 golfers were below the field average in driving accuracy for the week. Even though the 18th fairway is one of the most difficult fairways to hit on tour, it still plays as one of the easiest par 5s each season. Now, 6 years ago, the winner, Fabian Gomez, only hit 50% of the fairways. He was tied for 60th in driving accuracy, won the tournament. Brant Seneca, second to Gomez that year, hit 51.79% of his fairways. He was 56th in driving accuracy for the tournament. In 2017, JT hit less than 45% of the fairways and shot 59 during his first round on the way to beating the course record. Now, I think that personally, the golf tournament's not going to be won off the tee. I think it's going to be won on approach shots from off and on the fairway, especially from 125 to 200 yards, which the majority of all approaches are going to come from, and putting. Of the last 17 winners, only 5 finished the year inside the top 66 in strokes gained putting, right? So only 5 of the last 17 winners, top 66 in strokes gained putting. But all 5 of those have been in the last 7 years. So again, lots of trends a lot of stuff that you can take from the numbers that you're going to hear a lot of this week. It's how you go about and use it. And for me, like, I don't know. I like the course history trend. I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. You've seen it over year and year and again. But these numbers that I spit out that you're going to hear a lot of this week, you know, if something catches your eye, take it. I can't be the guy. I'm not really paying attention to too much of that. You know, and I spit all this out, this information, and it doesn't make sense that I'm not going to use it. But maybe tiebreakers. Maybe if you're looking for something in the last little bit of your research, but you know, all those stats that I just put in, I wouldn't think too much of it. Just focus on what you want in your golfers this week. You want guys with good iron play, who could putt on Bermuda, who might have a good short game or above average short game, who could play in these wins. If you're going to miss these greens. Now, on the approach shots, like I said, golfers are going to see Bermuda greens. They're pretty big in size. I think they're top 15, top 20 on tour in size. They're going to need to hit a bunch of those because there's a lot of trouble, a lot of deep bunkers. The rough is actually higher around the greens. Making short game definitely a big deal, I think, this week. They're going to be around 11 on the step meter. What are you looking for in golfers this week?
Like you said, Kenny, 125 to 200, that shots are coming from their 7 out of 10 approach shots are coming from that range. It's 14% more than tour average. We're just going to be seeing so many shots from that range. Some comp courses that you can kind of take a look at. Harbour Town, Port Royal, some of these guys that played the Bermuda, definitely can take a look at that. Both the Sea Island venues. If you want to take a look at Innisbrook, Copperhead course, Colonial, all of these short kind of claustrophobic venues, Silverado Resort. I think those are nice places to kind of take a peek at. I think it's something you want to take a look at with that. And then from your trend with guys having played the week before, all winning here, Kenny, 12 of the 13 most expensive golfers on the DFS slate played last week. So there's correlation to playing well the week before, but also like the best guys that played last week are in that tournament because they're in the top 50 in the FedEx and because they've won tournaments in the past, you know, so they are good golfers anyway. So you likely would have them ranked high up your model regardless. So as we see, Tom Kim's the only one that's not in there from the 13, and he's top 30 in the world. Surprise, surprise. So let's get into the tiers here, Kenny. Tiers and beers for the DFS this week at the Sony. We've got Hideki and Corey sitting in the 10K range apiece. Hideki at 11, Corey at 10-2. Who, by the way, Corey Connors, his first top 5 finish since his win at the Valero in 2023 in April. It's been almost
but he's had
20 months.
3 top 10s in his last 4 events.
Oh yeah, he finishes inside the top 10 at a 33% clip. So 1 in every 3 starts, he's finishing inside the top 10. This was the first top 10 he's had, top 5 he's had in 2 years almost. Insane. And he gained the most feet putting last week. Corey fucking Connors, dude. So I think he's going to be very popular. He's great at this golf course. He's so good from 150 to 200. I understand that. So gun to your head, Kenny. Corey or Hideki in the top here. Hideki. Yeah.
Yeah, give me Hideki. Give me a chance to win. Give me a chance to win.
Or a top 5.
I'll go ahead and take it. I mean, Corey, we'll see how popular Hideki gets. It used to be back in the day where people didn't play the winner from last week, but that's gone out the window. I think Hideki's going to be popular. I don't know. Maybe I don't play either. Right now, I like Hideki a lot. He's won this event before. We've seen him get hot. He's won back-to-back events, I think, before in his career, if I'm not mistaken. I think once. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But you've seen him put out a string of good finishes before. If we're going to pick between these two, I'm going to go ahead and pick Hideki. The big thing is going to be this 9K range. First cash game cornerstone is Maverick McNeely. We talked about him earlier. Again, he has a good finish here in the past. His putting prowess is strong. And then, of course, he was top 5 in iron play last week. So he's the first cash game cornerstone. Ben On is going to be one of my favorite GPP plays. I'm hoping he doesn't get too talked up because this stats don't look that great, especially here recently. I think he got the rust off of his bag. He was 500 after the first 6 on Sunday. I think first 6 or first 7, he ended, I think 5 under, or 5 or 6 under, but he started off real strong. Just getting those kinks out. I got no problem with him. Who do you like in the 9K range?
This 9K range is holy course history. I mean, we've got Russell Henley, we got himself waxed by Hideki that year. Keegan Bradley missing out in the playoff. Benny Ahn missing out in the playoff. Maverick McNeely's had a top 12 year before. I think if you're looking for a contrarian play, Sahith Theegala is that guy. I mean, he's not a cash game cornerstone. Like I was saying with the betting side of things, you're not using him for a safe play. You're using him for upside. You don't want to put too much of him in your lineup unless you want to be ultra aggressive. So I'm all about Sahith. I think he can do a lot of good. I mean, I've got him ranked 4th for upside, 25th for safety. You know what I'm saying? When I'm taking a look at top 20s, top 40s for safety, top 10s, top 5s for upside. So he's someone I like. Maverick McNeely, obviously, like Benny Ahn. I think in this range, just give me, there's literally no one here I don't really care about outside of Bobby Mack. He's probably going to be the lowest owned dude. You just go to the lowest owned option, in my opinion, because they are all very good options. So I'm not going to try and tell you that I like this guy over that guy. I feel like they're all very similar. Just go with the dude that's the least owned in the $9,000 range.
I'm probably, I think I might fade Tom. I know Paul Tesori's on his bag. Webb has had massive success here in the past. I think he's going to be very, very popular. I haven't seen him play. I don't know what to expect. If he's like 25, 30% owned, I think he's worth not playing.
I don't know if you'll get to that, Kenny. There's too many guys. So? There's Corey Connors, there's Keegan, there's Benny, there's Mav. You know, there's Russell. People are it's gonna be pretty. I'd say it's gonna be pretty flat.
I mean, if he's like 15%, then maybe it's a little different. Maybe it's a little different. But let's get to this 9K, this 8K range. I like a lot of guys here too. My second cash game cornerstone is going to be Taylor Pendrith at $8,800. Again, played last week, top 5 or top 12, I think top 15 actually in strokes gained approach for the week. But he's been putting extremely well here recently in the I think he's like 10th in strokes gained putting in the last 24 rounds. Makes a bunch of birdies. Decent in the proximity ranges I'm looking for. I'm going to play him. I think Eckroat is my next cash game cornerstone, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mike? It was Eckroat, right? Yes, it is Eckroat. Eckroat is the third cash game cornerstone. Again, a guy, a proven winner. Played last week. Iron Game is there. Has had a good course history at this event. I'll play him. My guy here, I think it's GP is going to be Kitty. I like Kurt Kitayama this weekend. He's one of the best from 125 to 200. I think he might actually be the best from 125 to 200 in this field. I don't know how popular he'll be, but he ended the fall swing on a pretty high note with a couple of back-to-back good finishes. I'm hoping that that can get him going on a course where he's been okay at. So I like him a lot in GPPs. Byron, who do you like?
Before we get there, I'll just give you guys the top 10 guys from 150 to 200 in strokes gained approach. All right. Corey Connors, Hideki Matsuyama, Lucas Glover, Sepp Straka, Kurt Kitayama, Henrik Norlander, Doug Gim, Austin Eckroat, Luke Clanton. So those are some names that you can definitely kind of take your eye on. And then when I'm taking a look at Taylor Pendrith, we made an albatross for 20 best ball points on Underdog. Go check out my dog Dominator. I will have that updated for the new slates coming out for the contest there. Use code Mayo, get up to $1,000 deposit bonus over there. These contests are fun. If you missed out on the first one, there's more for you. There's a major one that only has all four majors. You get to play a bit of the live guys there if you want. And then there's a bunch of other ones. So Taylor Pendrith made 20 points on one hole, which is the equivalent to 5 birdies. So that's just kind of insane to think about. On one hole, he made 5 birdies. So he's a great option, in my opinion, as well. Kenny, I think he's going to be very popular at this start, $8,800. Davis Thompson is someone that's got off to a rough start, but kind of flew up the leaderboard as the week went along. So he's a sneaky option, in my opinion. I don't mind him at all either. And then Sepp Straka, like I said, just rattling off that range from 150 to 200. He's going to be very, very good. And we saw him get very hot, make 7 straight birdies. I think that's the longest streak of his career, and it is the longest of the year so far. So that's definitely someone I'll be keeping my eye on in the 8s. In the 7s, I'm a fan of Tom Hoagie, as always. I think he'll be a little interesting to play there. Thomas Dietrich at $7,500. Don't get excited when he's inside the top 5 going into Sunday. Just guarantee yourself a top 20 because he's going to just completely shit the bed in Belgium breakfast style. Daniel Berger at $7,500. He's an interesting play too. I think he showed some good form at the RSM. Matt McCarty, like I mentioned earlier in the show, he is incredible with the putter. And then Andrew Novak, another guy that's just really, really showing some good form. He hits a lot of good shots with the wedges. I think he's an option that you can definitely go to in the $7,400 range. And then Patrick Rogers, if you're just looking for a cash game kind of option, he finishes inside the top 40 a lot.
Cam Davis, my final cash game cornerstone. Again, top 5 in approach last week. Played well, finished top 10. Has played well in this course in the past. I'm trying to keep it simple when it comes to my cash game cornerstones. So my 4 cash game cornerstones for this week are going to be Maverick McNeely at 9,200. Taylor Penderith at 8,900, Austin Eckroat at 8,700, and Cam Davis at 7,900. Other guys, Matt Hughes, I think he makes a lot of sense. He talked about him earlier with his short game prowess. I do like him. Hollywood Hoagie, right around there at 7,700. I think he was 4th in approach last week with another top 10. So I'll play him. Daniel Berger, again, another guy who, you know, his play from 125 to 200 is strong. Really, really good par 4 score. So I do like Berger. Let me see who else we got here. Why don't you go to the bottom of the range while I keep looking?
Yeah, if you're looking for another safe-ish option that's going to make the cut for you, you can go to Matt Kuchar. He's got the 4th best course history at this golf course. Nick Taylor's obviously played fantastic golf here, 2 in the past. Chandler Phillips, not the best course history, but he grades out as the 3rd best comp course. All those other courses, Harbortown, Seasides, all of those venues, he's got the 3rd best strokes gained out of everyone in this field going on over there. And then we can go with one more Taylor, and it's going to be Taylor Moore. So he's also someone that's got great course history at like Innisbrook. I think that's something that you can really lean into with the putting being a very important. He's very, very good with the putter and played quite nicely at the Zozo, who I think it's also a nice, interesting course there. And obviously, I'll be playing Justin Lower if I'm playing a lot of lineup share because I think he's kind of missing ball striking metrics after those last 9 rounds without any shot link.
I like Nico. Like you talked about him earlier. I mean, 7,300 just seems too cheap for a guy who's won twice in the last year, in a little 16 months or something like that. I mean, yeah, I would play Nico at 7,300. Other guys down here, Joe Highsmith. Again, iron plays really, really strong. He could putt well. Tons of birdies. Really good from 125 to 150. Really good on par 4s. So I'll play a little Highsmith. There was somebody else that I wanted to talk about here.
I think Rio is also very good with that range on approach, and he'll be low owned for sure. He's not playing good.
Rio, his name?
Grillo. Emiliano Grillo.
I don't know, man. I've seen people talk about Grillo.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll see how popular he does get, but I don't think he's going to be crazy. Whaley, another guy who ended the fall with pretty nice little swing, has played well here in the past. I don't know how popular he's going to get, but you know he could putt his ass off, makes a bunch of birdies. Who do you like in the 6K range?
It sounds really weird, but in the 6K range, I'm just going to lean on some guys with some decent course history. And Charlie Hoffman is your course history thoroughbred. The old seagull finds his nest at all these golf courses he's played well at in the past. So he's definitely someone you can take a look at. KH Lee has got decent course history for someone that's $6,600. I don't think I'm going to be going to Webb, who does have good course history here. Bryce Garnett, $6,300 if you're looking for a sprinkle in there. And then Aaron Badley.
He played last week too.
Yeah, Aaron Badley at $6,100. He's mint price, basically, and provides you with, if the conditions get tough and dry, he is a short game specialist. So he can scramble his absolute face off at a venue like this. So give me all of these guys with decent course history down in the bottom here. I think they can make some noise, Kenny. Who you got?
If you're gonna go low, like 6,400, Ben Cole's 5 down there, who's with his from 150 to 175, he's the best in the field in the last 24 rounds. I don't think he's going to be super popular down there. Sam Ryder, for some courses where you don't have to hit driver a lot, I just like Ryder. He can get hot with his birdie with like with his putter
DFS points.
and get
Yeah.
and get a lot of birdies. Joel Domin, again, another guy who is up there with Kitayama as one of the best from 125 to 150 or to 200 at least in the last, I'd say, 4 months, the last 24 rounds. Henrik Norlander, I think you talked about him as one of those guys who has really good iron play from those ranges as well. I don't mind taking a flyer. He had a really good fall as well, a couple of really good finishes in the fall. And Patton Kizzire at 6,900 again played last week. What did he win? It seems like these are the type of courses that he can play.
He won the 40 net, I believe.
Yeah, these tighter courses, like you said, Silverado,
Sanderson Farms.
He won something, but I do like him at these times. Anybody else?
No, I think those are my guys. Trying to stay out of the 6K range.
So it's one and done.
Honest with you,
we forgot to talk about this.
Let's chat some one and done. Sure, yeah.
Real quick. Just, if you haven't gotten in, you got to get into the Mayo tournament. The Mayo one and done. It's on Fantasy Golf Championships. Make sure you go to Pat's X feed. Go get on it. It's like $250, but it's fun. The winner gets $100,000.
100K.
Yeah, $100,000. Like I've won 2 or 3 years that I've played, not win, but I've won money 2 or 3 years, and I'm a fucking idiot. So obviously, if you can go out there, you can get this. Make sure you get it before Sunday. It starts at the Sony. So go on to the Mayo Cup. Make sure you sign up for that. How are you going about this week?
By the way, I'm in with my dad. So he's so excited for the Sony all of a sudden now. He asked me if Tony Finau's playing in the Sony. He just doesn't, just going off the top of his head for these names. So I'm going to have to rein him in a little bit. I don't know, Kenny, do you want to go aggressive early? I think you go aggressive early in the year, right? And kind of just see how it goes? Or what would you say your strategy is?
I don't save people. Like I don't, if I think a guy is going to fit this week, I'm going to use him. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to be like, well, should I save him for this? Should I, blah, blah. And I'm like, early on, you get that lead, you get up there, and then you start making do with what you got at the end. And then that's the way I would go about it, because there's always going to be a couple of guys that you don't use. Now, of course, it's all about money. So the signature events are big. So that is one little strategy that you might want to think of. Like you might want to save like your biggest studs of studs for signature events. And honestly, there's
not that many in here that you're going to burn anyway. So
so I'm going to go bet on to start this week.
That's going to be me as well. So we're a bunch of donkeys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go bet on this week. But he's not like an elite guy. I'm not worried about it. I will play guys in the top 50 in signature events, but this is like the perfect guy to play because he's not like elite. You're not expecting him to win a SIG event or be right about the week he does so. Yes, he has the talent to do it. I'd like starting with him. I'm going to go ahead and start with Benny. I've been saying Benny's going to win this event for months. So I got to keep with it. I can't stray. So I'm just going to go Benny.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then if you're looking for another high-end option, I think Russell Henley's not a bad option too. This is his golf course. He's got winning potential. He's done it once or twice. Very rarely does he get across the line, but sometimes he does. And at some point, I feel like his game has found some incredible form in the last little while. So Henley's not a bad option. Kenny, if you were to look for someone completely contrarian, where would you lean?
I'm trying to think. Maybe like a
Mackenzie Hughes,
Tom Hoagie,
Billy Horschel. Would you do like a Billy Horschel?
Kitayama would probably be one guy.
Or Seb Straka.
Kitayama would be something I would think of because then you're not using a signature event guy either. With Kitayama, he's not in the SIG events, so
Kenny, there's like 10 SIG events. You're not going to be using there's the 10 best guys you're going to be using. So interesting stuff. All right. You can catch me at The Model Maniac on X. Go check out my Patreon, The Model Maniac. I would love if you came and joined me over there in the Discord. I have all my tools, my matchup tool, my placement tool, my models, my showdown models. I'll be building a one and done tool for you guys tonight. So you can kind of keep track of your one and dones. And I have the best ball tool, the Dog Dominator. The Dog Dominator's back. We're barking again. We're out the doghouse. We're strutting on the lawn, baby. We've got best ball contest to go and win. So go grab that over there. You can grab that in the shop over there too. So I'll see you tomorrow night on my show at 7 Eastern. Kenny, take us out of here with all the sponsors. I figured I'd give you that beautiful privilege.
Yeah, well, make sure you go to Underdog Fantasy, use promo code Mayo, get yourself a deposit match up to $1,000. Go to kickbackgolf.com, use promo code FGD15, save yourself 15% on all their cool merchandise. You can find me on X and only X, at least for now, at KendoVT. You can find me there, and I'll probably release my final betting card, which is probably the card I have already. I don't think I can add any more. I'm already at my limit. I bet like
talking
8 guys.
absolute shit at the end.
So I was just betting a whole shit ton of people this week after last week's debacle. Let's see if we can get back on. I'm still at my budget, so we're good. I'm not going crazy on that. But yeah, check out my stuff there and here. That's about it for now. We'll see what happens. What? It should be a fun week. Prime time golf. Also, the Commanders in the playoffs. I can't wait. Let's win some motherfucking money. And let's the Commanders please win this week. Yeah, whatever. DFS Nation. Fuck y'all.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the Molly and I think it's be my third. Jordan Belfort.
All I did was just copy fucking Pine Barrens. It's an episode of Sopranos.
It's it's like fucking word for word, Mike. It's hilarious. It's like the ketchup packets in the car
And everything.
It's
Oh,
freaking
Jesus.
hilarious.